Hello everyone, today we're going to be analyzing a clip by Jordan Peterson where he mentions that one of his patients needed to keep creating to avoid depression. So this aligns perfectly with the ideas expressed in my book. So don't be surprised that if after this video you'll be questioning everything you thought you knew about basically everything. So you've been warned, so proceed at your own peril. So here's the clip. I'll give my explanation later.
I had clients who were like that too, creative people. If they ever stopped creating, they'd fall into the grip of their rational mind and just tear them into pieces. Right? Yeah, but as long as they focused on that continual exploration, play, creativity, then they were fine. They'd fall into it like a child playing. If one of the things you do as a therapist with people who are depressed, especially if they're intelligent, is help them identify it's probably something like a higher calling. You say, look, let's attend to your experience and see when you're depressed and when you're not. And then see if we can characterize the moments when you're not, and then concentrate on expanding them, right? And for this gentleman, who's a very creative architect, as long as he was creating, he was fine. Now and then his rational mind would crop up and say, well, what the hell's the point of all this creativity? Which is well, it's kind of a bottomless pit, isn't it? If the ultimate goal is ineffable, there's no final answer to that question that you could propositionalize.
So why do people need to keep creating or need to keep doing whatever their preferences are? So basically because we are all affected by unconscious trauma that makes up our operating system. So Carl Jung, he discovered 8 cognitive functions, and by mere luck I was able to identify that these 8 cognitive functions really resembled like traumas. Like FI, introverted feeling, it resembled to me the trauma of neglect. FE, like an exaggerated maternal instinct. NI, the trauma of betrayal. NE, the trauma or the response of fight or flight. SI, the fear of change and the unknown. SE, the fear of incarceration or having one's freedom taken away from them. TI feels like injustice, and TE, it feels a lot like abandonment. So this means that we all contend with these unconscious forces, and the best we can do is to basically submerge them temporarily, because they cannot be permanently vanquished, because that would dismantle all our motivators. The unconscious traumas that we all feel, they are what really give us the motivation, that would give us the fuel, that would pushes us into take action. Someone who is lonely is going to look for a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something, you know what I mean? So what drives us to interact with the world is our unconscious turmoil. So that's what pushes us to go out there to try to mitigate those traumas that we unconsciously feel and that we are not even aware of. So in doing so, we create progress and evolution. We keep civilization going forward, evolving. So, but why do we need this? Why do we need progress and evolution? And this is going to sound really, really weird and really strange, but stick with me, because we are meant to become the stewards of the universe. I know how it sounds. Stick with me. So, universe is basically on a self-destructing path, right? So, entropy dictates that everything is headed towards dissolution. So everything is essentially going to granulate, going into a homogeneous, featureless existence. So where all distinctions and usable energy are lost. So the universe is basically self-destructing. So in other words, everything will disappear. So however, intelligence or effort and external intervention may reverse this entropy. So imagine that an advanced civilization figures out how to manipulate these fundamental forces. Could that advanced intelligent civilization stop entropy and create an eternal universe? So the universe, grasp this, the universe cannot do anything else than create planets, stars, and so forth, galaxies and so forth, right? But it cannot create a car. It cannot create a computer with AI capabilities, for example. But we can, right? Our boundless imagination can create anything. So the universe basically gains hands with intelligence, right? So, by the way, if you want the answer to why evil exists, it's simple. So imagination allows for both extremes. So to extremes to exist. So free will is essential for us to be able to create and innovate, right? So if we are capable of loving, we are capable of hating, we are capable of evil. So we need freedom of thought to innovate, right? So that comes with good and bad. So the choice is what matters. Jesus knew this and even used his body to show you the way. But I'm getting sidetracked. So to answer the great Jordan Peterson, which I truly admire, why did that architect needed to keep creating? Because when he does that, he suppresses his traumas. And when he doesn't, those traumas come to the surface again, creating discomfort, who force him to create again. So get it? So we all go through that process, be it a CEO who feels unworthy due to the trauma of abandonment, or TE, that he needs to continuously prove his worth, or the artist who, due to the trauma of neglect, FI, hopes that their art will give them the validation to their feelings, right? Something that they constantly strive for because their feelings were never validated. So the unconscious traumas that govern our preferences and make up our operating system are responsible for everything, like to communism, conflict, war, capitalism, everything. So about the higher calling.
One of the things you do as a therapist with people who are depressed, especially if they're intelligent, is help them identify it's probably something like a higher calling.
That is also explained in my book. Using MBTI, we can completely assess where people's strengths and weaknesses are at. So for example, ISTJs are great to be accountants, lawyers, military strategists. ISFJs can be like nurse, teacher, social workers. ESTJ is like a CEO, a project manager, police officer. ISTP, a mechanic, engineer, or emergency responder. An ISFP is like the artist, the fashion designer, and so on and so forth. So by utilizing MBTI, for example, that is derived from Carl Jung, we can definitely see where we can make our most meaningful contributions, and by doing that we are aligning with what makes us feel good. So we enter that flow state, you know what I mean? So it's not very easy, but once we understand what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are, we can definitely align our purpose to society. So at the same time, feeling a sense of fulfillment while contributing in the most meaningful way that we can to society. Remember when Jordan Peterson in the clip says, what the heck is the purpose of all this creativity?
Now and then his rational mind would crop up and say, well, what the hell's the point of all this creativity? You know, which is it's kind of a bottomless pit, isn't it? If the ultimate goal is ineffable, there's no final answer to that question that you could propositionalize.
Right. So it seems like to me, right, that we need a unifying narrative here. So I'll give you one. So what about we as a species become the stewards of the universe? What about we all having a shared responsibility of developing and evolving so much morally, ethically, of course, right, that we are the ones that make sure that the universe is sustained indefinitely, conquering entropy. So, and all our personal and individual contributions are meaningful to that ultimate goal. So, by the way, if you want answers to what is free will, evil, our purpose, and why we suffer constantly, read my book. It's not about money. Just click in the link below. It's available to everyone for free via Google Drive. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
If you liked the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. That will allow us to keep making more videos like this. For more related content, please click on one of the suggested videos. Thank you for watching.